So here's my presentation for the Democratic Peace research note, and I'll attach my presentation, and I'll just tell what slide I'm on so you can follow along. So title slide is testing the relationship between democratic states and alliances. So now slide 2, relevant theory, the balance of power. The balance of power theory was introduced by Kenneth N. Waltz in the Theory of International Politics, and that states that states seek stability by forming alliances to counter potential threats from other states or coalitions, and it aims to prevent any single actor from becoming overwhelmingly dominant. And the importance of allies is states align strategically to maintain equilibrium and prevent dominance. Military capabilities and intentions play a significant role in forming alliances, and alliances forged with nations possessing complementary strengths or shared interests. And continuing relevant theory, understanding state relationships, framework to analyze how states respond to perceived threats. Alliances serve as instruments for preserving global equilibrium, and it provides insights into patterns of alliances among democratic states. So now slide 4, hypothesis. The hypothesis is democratic states are more likely to form alliances with other democracies than with non-democracy states. Based on the democratic peace theory, emphasized shared democratic principles and mutual trust among democratic nations. That's what the hypothesis is based on. And the democratic peace theory, it suggests that democracies are inherently peaceful and less likely to engage in conflicts with one another. And democracies believed to foster greater competition, transparency, and conflict resolution mechanisms. And then slide 5, hypothesis continued. Alliance preferences of democratic states. Expectation of democratic states to prioritize cooperation with like-minded democratic nations. Shared democratic norms and values influence the preference for alliances with fellow democracies. Now, testing the hypothesis. Analyzing the alignment behavior of democratic states across different regions, the Middle East, South Asia, and Eastern Europe. And now assessing whether democratic states demonstrate a propensity to form alliances with other democracies. Implications that this has, and impacts regional stability and international relation dynamics, and understanding how democratic states perceive and interact with one another in the context of alliances. Slide 6, methodology. We use the Chi square statistical technique, and this is utilized to test the hypothesis and examine the relationship between democratic states and alliances. It assesses the significance of observed data compared to expected data under the null hypothesis. And for data collection, we gather data from 3 regions: Middle East, South Asia, and Eastern Europe. And it pairs countries within regions. Pairs of country within regions were analyzed to determine their alignment status, democracies or non-democracies. And we used a 2x2 contingency table, and we tabulated that data into the 2x2 table, and that analyzed the relationship between both democracies and both not democracies forming alliances. Slide 7, methodology continued, and we had the significance level to determine the probability threshold for accepting or rejecting the hypothesis. And then testing the hypothesis is the comparison of observed data to expected data using the Chi square test. And we calculated the Chi square test, or square value, in the corresponding p-value. For the now results and conclusion on slide 8, the key findings: the Chi square value was 5.559, and the p-value was 0.018385591. And this shows that the statistical analysis reveals a significant relationship between both democracies and not both democracies forming alliances. This supports the hypothesis. The results support the initial hypothesis that democratic states are more likely to form alliances with other democracies than with non-democracy states. The implications this has is the findings indicate a tendency among democratic states to align with like-minded nations, driven by shared democratic principles and mutual trust. And results and conclusions continued on slide 9. Understanding international relations. The study sheds light on the alignment behavior of democratic states and its implications on global stability and cooperation. The conclusion is the research note contributes to our understanding of how democratic states form alliances and interact in the international arena. Further research in this area can provide deeper insights into the dynamics of democratic states, cooperation, and their impacts on the international system. There's the citation of the 2 websites we used, and then Wallace's book, Theory of International Politics, that I also used. Thanks.